Hey guys, it's Travis. I'm the creative arts pastor here at FCC in Santa Maria, California. We're setting up for rehearsal here on Thursday, and I want to take a few minutes and talk to you about our keys station here, how we're running keys for a Sunday morning. The rig has really come a long way in the last little bit. Came on staff about a year ago, and the key station was really complicated and the sounds were a bit dated, and so we kind of refreshed that a bit, and we did it for a pretty inexpensive cost, and so we want to talk you through kind of what we're doing. All right, so we're up here on the key station that we have for Sunday mornings. This is the keyboard that was here when I came on staff about a year ago. This is a Yamaha Motif Xs 8, and these things are really solid. I know there's a lot of churches that use them. So super solid piece of gear. I was excited to see that it was here when I got here, but the sounds that they were using were a bit dated. I wasn't real happy with those. And I had no clue on how to use it. So during that first little bit of time that I was here, I took this thing down into my office, and for about a week, just any spare time that I had, I devoted to trying to learn this thing and then to update the sounds on it. And after that week, I gotta be honest, I just couldn't get there. It was too complicated. The sounds, I just couldn't get where we wanted it. And so we decided to just kind of scrap that and go to a system that I'd used in a lot of other previous ministry contexts. And so we're gonna talk through that right now. So we still have the Xs 8 here. It's got a great key bed and a good feel, but we're not using any of the internal sounds. All we're doing is using this as a MIDI controller. Okay, so we have no internal sounds coming out of it, out of the MIDI out jack. We're going into a interface, USB interface. It's the Audio Box USB by Presonus. It's $100. It's a cheap interface, but it does what we need it to do. So we run out of the Xs 8 into that interface that sits on the floor, and then USB that connects to a computer. So we put a Apple in here, a MacBook Pro, and we're running MainStage 3 on there. So it connects from the interface, USB into that computer, and then all the processing is done within MainStage 3. That's the program that we're using. That runs back out into the interface via USB, and then there's 2 1/4-inch cables that run into a pair of DIs, and that runs out to our house so that our guys can control it. All right, so like I said before, we chose to use MainStage 3 for our software. I know there's a lot of other softwares out there that people use, Ableton and the list can go on, but we chose MainStage 3. I'm a Logic guy. I've been recording in Logic for years, and this used to be part of the Logic suite. Now you can buy it separate, which is an unbelievable value. It's only $30 right now in the App Store, and so for $30, this was a no-brainer for us to use. The sounds are high quality, as highest quality as what Logic is, and it's really easy to use. The user interface is just, for me, it's really easy to program the MIDI changes in it, and to make it work on a weekly basis for us, which is a super solid program. So MainStage 3 is what we're using. Again, we're using the Motif as just a MIDI controller to this. And I've got a couple of sounds that we use kind of as our stock thing, and then we can program anything that we want to for special services. Sometimes we'll have certain songs that have different patches, but we mainly just use one keys patch. It has a pad that I've built into it as well that we can blend in or out, or we could blend the keys part in or out. And then we also have a EP sound, which is kind of a suitcase Rhodes type sound, and we have a 60s organ, kind of a rock organ. So those are really all we're using. I have programmed a delay in here, so let's go through and talk a little bit about what that looks like and how those sounds are being controlled and used, and a little bit of how they sound. All right, so the sounds in MainStage are called patches, and we have a short little patch list that we have here. Mainly it's a standard key sound. Again, it's got a pad that we can blend in. I've got that also set for a half step low and a whole step low, so depending on the song, if we're doing something in the key of B, a lot of keys players don't love playing in the key of B. Also, if we're doing something like D flat, some keys players love that, some don't, and so we have a couple different options transposed for them. And so that's here in the patch list that you can see on this portion of the screen. The rest of the screen is just for, gives us little readouts of what our control is on the keyboard. So on the keyboard, I've got listed out here, piano. This is the piano volume, and you can see it corresponds with what's being turned up and down on the screen. Our pad volume, so that can control the volume of the pad, and I can blend any of those in or out. I've got a couple of parameters for the pad, which is chorus and rate. Allows us to get a really good pad sound. I've got a reverb that's programmed in here, a delay with a tap tempo. The tap tempo's over here on the screen, but we can also control it from the one of the buttons here on the keyboard, and then our main outputs as well. So all of these control different parameters within MainStage. Works really well for us, and it's a really simple setup. Our keys players learn this in a really short amount of time, and it works well for them. So give you a couple examples here. We did a simple piano sound. I'll do it kind of dry, and no pad in there, no reverb, or just a little bit of reverb, and no delay. And it's really just kind of a bright studio style piano sound. So there's our piano sound. Works out great for most of the worship stuff that we do. It's a good sound. The pad sound is kind of a dark, warmer pad. It's got quite a bit of low end in it. This works really well for prayer transitions, and is a good tool to have at our disposal. And all you do to blend that in is, we just roll this knob up for the pad. Now, if we wanted to start maybe on a prayer transition with a little bit of a pad sound. So maybe there's a prayer or a verbal transition. Our keys players might be playing something like this on a pad, and then we can blend in the piano as we start the song. So there's different ways to use that. You can use one or the other, and it works out great. It's a good kind of bass sound for us. And again, this is just in standard tuning, but I have the same thing in a half step down and a whole step down, which really helps our keys players out. The other thing I really like, we can control the amount of reverb in here, so if we want a little bit wetter, we can add some reverb. But delay is really something that in modern worship stuff, a lot of keys players are playing with delay. And so I've programmed a really simple quarter note delay in here. And we can tap tempo from here on the top of the keyboard, and then roll in the amount of delay within here. So this sounds really good with some keys sound. So that would work also if we're doing a song like How He Loves, key of A, right? So we can add that delay, and our keys players can play the lead part and mimic what's going on in the electric guitar. And it's a really clean sound. It's a modern worship sound, and it's right at our fingertips. Really a nice way to go. So we also have on there a suitcase, kind of a stage EP sound. And so this one is just a little kind of dirty Rhodes type sound. All of you have probably heard that. And then also an organ, because what church would be complete without an organ sound? Right? Which is really great for a lot of the traditional stuff, but I mean, we don't do a ton of traditional stuff in here, but it's really great to blend in an organ at a time and give different textures and all that. So this is our key station. It's really simple. MainStage 3 is a really great way to go. I have all these patches available too. If you are interested in any of these patches, if you're using MainStage 3 or want to get into it, I'd love to share these patches with you. We want to be a church that resources other churches. So if you have questions about this, or you want any of these patches, love to resource that to you guys, answer questions. My email will be in the description below, as well as the church website. You can go take a look at more of these videos and get more contact information there.